Football, by the hell.
Old Trafford, this is the theatre of dreams. Will you please welcome...
Hello and welcome to the Busby Way podcast. I'm Macca. Joined with me as always is Brad. Today we're going to go through some of United's reviews with Leeds match. We're going to go through our Christmas winter period and digest it and see how bad it was or how good it was. And then also going to look at some transfer rumours and anything going forward for New Year's resolutions. But before we get stuck into any of all of that, please get out your phone, get your tablet, laptop out, give us a like, follow and share on social media.
Subscribe on YouTube.
On YouTube, on everything. Courier pigeon, whatever.
Courier pigeon, yeah.
Smoke
YouTube.
signal. Yeah, do it. But mainly YouTube.
Mainly YouTube.
Brad, did you have a good winter break, Christmas break?
I had a good winter break. I had a little bit of sun in the Caribbean, which was good. And we beat Newcastle, which was good. But then we were absolutely shit against Wolves.
Yeah, so. And we were pretty good against Villa, though, as well, to be fair.
No. We lost. I can't take anything from that game.
But we were pretty good. We were better against Villa than we were against Newcastle.
Yeah, but we still... The disappointing thing was I was on my holiday in Jamaica, and next to me, watching that game, was two Villa fans on their honeymoon. So they were celebrating like it was their Christmas, their honeymoon, their New Year.
Well, that's good night.
Oh, God. But... she could sing, do you know what I mean? She banged out a Whitney Houston at full time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What song?
Bodyguard. So
I Will Always Love You.
Yeah,
right, okay. Aimed at Rodgers.
Her husband. But,
right, fair. Second man.
It was a little bit on top, but and random, but it was good.
Oh, well, it sounds like good entertainment all round, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously, Christmas, then you weren't quite happy with it then?
Well, to be honest, because I was away, I couldn't really care. I didn't feel like emotionally connected to it because I was away. But it was nice to see us play well against Newcastle in the first half and then have absolute, paranoia in the second half, like it's all going to fall apart. But then I watched well, as you know, Mac had put the Wolves game on for me while I was in the airport going home. So that was very frustrating, being 1-0 up, and the last thing I see was them equalise before I got on a 10-hour flight, which was a bit depressing.
I was toying with the idea of just sending you a message saying they've scored in the last minute and just turning my phone off, but I thought that's just absolutely brutal. That
would have been brutal, but no, we did score in the last minute, didn't we, through Dorgu, and it was offside. So for a minute it flashed up on my phone. I'm literally stepping on the plane. But then, it was just shocking. Yeah. But, we can't be too critical of the team because of the injuries have just come, haven't they? You know, they've come in bunches. Kobe Main, who's made more appearances on this podcast in the background than he has for Manchester United this season. And it's come at a time where he would have got minutes and games, which is really, really frustrating. Must be frustrating for him.
Are you reading anything into that injury, or do you think it's a legitimate, genuine injury?
Genuine injury, because he's back on grass now, so he wouldn't have been... He would have been injured earlier on in December had it have been an injury to keep him fit for a club move in January. I think it was just an ill-timed thing, and obviously Bruno missing. You could see from today's game that it's just one of those where, it's crying out for a Bruno Fernandes, that game.
Yeah, it needed someone to step up and take the game out of net, but I think that was it. A lot of the creative spark was missing over Christmas, and I think a lot of them teams were there for the taking, and we just didn't quite have enough.
We didn't have enough, and you know what? Ugarte played well over that period, I thought. I was really happy with him in midfield. I think he broke play up really, really well. I think the disappointing thing is, other than the Newcastle game, we've had control in these games. We just haven't had that spark up front, and Cunha has been the only one that's shown something. But, and Sesko's linking at play well, but he just can't get...
No, he needs a goal badly,
He needs a goal badly. He's starting to get a touch of the Rasmuses, isn't he?
Yeah, a touch of the Rasmuses.
A touch of the Rasmus.
Absolutely. But I think as well, one of the biggest things we've probably missed is Mount. I thought that was like a kill. I thought if we had Sesko, Mount and Cunha all all over Christmas. I thought that's quite a nice,
that's
balanced. Yeah, it's a nice balance, just enough to kind of get us through. Then obviously Mount gets his customary injury, and then
I know, yeah, just he probably went round for Christmas Day at Amorim's and wasn't looked after. Do you know what I mean? I think he was probably a bit pissed off with that. I mean, it's just the Mason Mount story at Man United, isn't it? He looks like a player. He comes back, looks like a player for 6-7 weeks, and then it goes. It's not really worked out for him, and I think we need to start thinking and planning without him. I think.
Well, that's it. When do you make that call on Mason Mount then? Because Mason Mount, like you said, he's been in and out of the team, but when do you make the call of going, right, we're moving on from this,
Summer,
it's not working?
Gone.
Really?
Unfortunately, because, like this season will be the season where we play the least amount of games. Now, we will get back into Europe. We're in and around Europe. It'll be some form of, let's hope we can get, a run of 10 games where we don't lose again and we can get into the Champions League. Or most likely is Europa or the Conference League, which would be a very big fall from grace. I actually prefer us not being in Europe to being in the Conference League, but there we go. I think if we've got the amount of games that European football brings next season, you need in a squad of 25 to be available every week, because that's what you need. And Mason Mount has shown he's in his third season now at the club. He cannot be fit for more than 5 games in a row, and it's not good enough.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think you just said then we do need like a squad of 25. There's a lot of youth were in and around the team this over Christmas. Yeah. Have you seen enough of any of them to think potentially they've got a bit of a future?
I like the Fletchers. I don't think we've seen enough of anybody else. Shea Lacey's been in and around it, and I really do like Shea Lacey.
I was about to say I'd really like to have seen more of him. I think.
Yeah, I think today I would have taken Dorgu off for him because. Let's face it, Dorgu attempted about 99 take-ons on their left back and got past 0 times. It was a frustrating performance from him, especially in the second half when the game was opening up. And I think Lacey's that type of player who might not go past you with speed, but he'll cut in, do something with it. So I would have wanted the manager to make that decision, but I think what he's done is he's tried to not risk him at Ellen Road, but then why have them in the squad? Why not just take two subs? That's
it. Well, he looked relatively sharp against Villa, to be fair. Yep. He came on. He didn't do anything to set the game on fire, but there was that one moment he cut inside, got a shot, thought it was straight at the keeper, but he does look like he's got a bit about him, so potentially that's one for the future, do you reckon?
Definitely one for the future. I'd like to see more of him. Again, we've said this about Mainu, we've said this about Heaven. The lack of European football has really cost them. Aiden Heaven looks a player. Now, he makes that mistake today, but I think after that mistake, he was, again, one of the best players on the pitch. He recovered incredibly well.
Well, I feel like with that mistake today, I think it's a bit harsh just to lay it on his feet, because Dello in front of him just gives the ball away ridiculously cheap, and I don't think Heaven's accounting for him giving the ball away, and he finds himself in hot water straight away. So I think Dalot's putting more in the frame than.
It's hard to be harsh on Dalot. It's easy to be harsh on Dalot in this situation, but I'm not going to be, because I actually think he's done well over the last few weeks. I think he's looked good. I am getting bored of his long throws, though. I'm not going to lie. They are starting to amount to nothing, and I think I'd rather get the ball down and play.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 today where he throw it in, and it was like, well, you'd not even beat the first man, so what's the point?
Yeah, like it's almost as if he's lost some yardage on them long throws. He was getting them right into the 6-yard box, and now they don't beat the first man. Yeah. They just loop in the air.
But we're not going to throw any shade at Delort then, no?
No shade.
Out. New year.
So, Diogo, when you do come on the podcast and sit with me and we have a pastel donata and we chill, I can say how much of a player you are, and then hopefully you go to AC Milan again.
See him out the way.
Yeah, we get a good 30-40 mil for you, and then move on.
Perfect. And like you just said, then one player keen to talk about, Aiden Heaven. I think he's coming at a good time over Christmas as well. He's been really solid. I think Yoro's come off the boil a little bit, which is to be expected for a young player. So he's come in and he seems to have kind of stepped up quite well.
I thought. Sorry, just going on Yoro. Yoro went bad today. Yoro was all right.
No, I'm not saying he's got bad, but he's got a little bit off the boil. And he's just gonna probably take him out the firing line a little bit, having Heaven in.
Yeah, I probably would have took Delo off today over Yoro, because Yoro was tracking his man better. But no, on to Aiden Heaven. Heaven was good today, and Heaven has been good over the period. We haven't missed Delict as much as I thought we would. In the first couple of games we did, and now Heaven has stepped up and he looks like a real player.
And I think having Martinez next to him, kind of marshalling him about and kind of talking him through the game does help as well.
Yeah. I read some, because people will say a lot of bollocks about, oh, I've watched him in the youth team. I've not watched Aiden Heaven in the youth because I watched Man United youth. The only time I saw him was when he came up against Man United. And I think he played in midfield. Now, I think he was a midfielder previously, and now he's a defender, and you can kind of tell that with his play, really, because he doesn't seem to ever get spooked on the ball, which was maybe a little bit of fault for the goal, where he sort of did the old Pogba jog. But you know, he was he's classy on the ball, and I think that's what he needs.
Quite well. He did that for Xerxes' goal against who was it? The deflected goal against Wolves.
Yeah,
he was bombing forward, and he kind of helped create that chance.
I think so. Do you think it'll work long term though with Heaven and Martinez in that back? Because I don't really like two left footers in there.
No, I don't think it will, but I think for the time being, as a stopgap, it'll work fine. I think obviously when you get Delict back, he's coming straight back into the team pretty much once he gets his match fitness back and everything. But I think having him, and like you said, with more matches next season, he's going to be definitely one to be in the starting lineup in probably maybe back end of next season after.
So, are you having Martinez?
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to see him and Delict play together. I really, really want to see that, because I think Martinez, very vocal on the pitch, organises stuff, does all that, and Delict does a lot of coming out of the defence and everything. I think they complement each other quite well.
I think I like Martinez, but I think he controls the game a bit too much sometimes. I think he slows the game down a little bit too much. I think in the last 10 minutes today, there was times where he could play Shaw in on the left-hand side and we could go forward, and he passes across the defence. Now, he does hit that left to right pass quite often, and he's silky with the ball. You know, he's a very good footballer. But do you think, you know, we are, what is it, his third season at Man United? We've not had a completed season out of him. Can we rely on Martinez long term to be a successful, to be a Champions League team and a team competing to win the league? Is Martinez a player that we can hang our hat on?
I think it's different with him and Mount. Mount keeps getting niggly injuries, recurring and stuff like that. I feel like Martinez, last time we brought him back well too soon. Like he should have been gradually brought in, just kind of like he's been doing now. And he got that bad injury and he's back out again. I feel like he's had bad luck, whereas Mount is just riddled with injuries. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think I feel riddled with injuries. But I feel like there's just always an injury there. If he sneezes, he's done his cruciate. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think Martinez, he's a victim of like the way he's been playing, because he gets stuck into everyone, and that's how he got his injury. I'd say you'd hang your hat more on Martinez as a player that you can rely on. And he's had bad luck. I just think
it's unfortunate for Mount and Martinez, because they look like two top professionals, right? They look like two players, if they could stay injury free, that they're Man United players, right? But I think with Martinez, I think you need to assess that at the end of the season, because if he manages to stay fit until the end of the season, great, brilliant. Let's go into pre-season. Let's move forward with him. But if there's another month injury or a 2-month injury or a longer one, we can't have first team players that have, 6 months injuries lining up. We just don't have we've not got the finances to back it. We've not. It's just not doable anymore. I think what the club need to be is a bit more brutal with the squad. The manager needs to be backed, and I say he's the manager, not the head coach. I've heard what he said. But we aren't backing him if we're, having a team of Darren Andertons. Do you know what I mean? For those of you under the age of 40, Darren Anderton used to be injured all the time, nicknamed Sick Note, for all those watching on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like you can. I give him the benefit of the doubt, Martinez. I think I can give him the benefit of the doubt for his...
The Butcher.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Butcher. Be better, Butcher.
I
love you, Butcher. But he needs to be more of the Butcher and less of the Pat Butcher. Do you know what I mean? He needs to he needs to stop getting chopped up. Like, I'm, as a player, really good player, Manchester United player, but he needs to not having Bambi legs. Do you know what I mean? We need fit, firing players, and we need this AFCON to be over. Yeah. I'm bored of it.
Yeah, well, Brad, you come back absolutely ruthless. You got rid of Delo, got rid of Mount, got rid of Martinez back in the manager. Is anyone else going out?
Well,
the team?
I think it's because you only get 20 kilograms of like baggage allowance. So I've been good at cutting things.
Oh,
do you know
really?
what I mean?
Right, okay.
So that's it. You know, like trainers cut.
Yeah. I thought you went because you only get 20 grams. Like, fucking hell, no wonder you're chatting so much nonsense. Fair enough.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah. So obviously moving on then to today, let's talk about the Leeds game. What did you think of it? I thought it was a pretty dull affair all in all, but I don't think it was ever going to be anything other than that when you look at the team that was on the pitch.
It was kind of a bit like our season, really, wasn't it? In the like, it's flattered to deceive because Cunha smashes one in from 30 odd yards, and I'm jumping around my living room, you know, t-shirts gone above the head. And it's offside for Sesko being pushed under the ball. And I'm like, I predicted 3-1 because I'm ever the optimist. I love Man United. But after 20 minutes, I thought, whoever scores first is winning this game. So credit to the manager because we went behind and he reacted. And I think that's the best we've seen Xerxes in a Man United shirt for that 20 minutes today.
Yeah, definitely. It was Jekyll and Hyde again with Xerxes over Christmas. But yeah, he came on and he was the game changer.
Yeah.
But again, he was the only person on that bench who probably could have been a game changer. The only other person who say was a first teamer was Malacia, and obviously he's not a game changer.
Was Bayern on the bench? He could have changed the game for the worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like could chuck a couple in.
Yeah, that's it. Help you out with your cue.
But no, it was like I'm frustrated with today's game, and I'm a little bit angry because I think Leeds were there for the taking. Leeds have changed their formation over the last couple of months, and they've got more solid. They play less of the... So they brought those two wingers, those two attacking players on in the last 10 minutes. And they're really more compact in the midfield. That blonde lad, who I can't remember his name, the big blonde lad who looks basically a long-haired McTominay from Sweden. But he's number 8, I think. Big names beginning with a B. But anyway, he was good for them in the midfield. But, you know, we were... Casemiro and Ugarte were running the show in midfield, and I just felt like it was just one Sesko goal away from being a top performance, but it flattered.
I don't know. I just felt we lacked total quality going forward. I think, and it just felt like we'd get to the edge of the box, and there was no spark. I think Cunha was trying hard, and I think obviously I'm glad he got his goal because I think he deserved it. But felt like everything was just slightly flatter than you wanted it to be.
Yeah, and it was kind of a bit like that against Wolves, wasn't it? You know, we got to the edge of the box, and then it was like, well, where's Bruno?
Yeah.
Where's Mbeumo?
No, what?
Where's Ahmad?
Yeah.
You know, why is the Africa Cup of Nations during a season? Why haven't we sorted that out yet? Do you know what I mean? Why is the Premier League so racist against the AFCON that they don't stop? Like, it's surely, you know, it's ridiculous. We're missing 2 of our best players in a period of time, 3 of our best players, because Mazwari as well. And we don't have that spark. We're devoid of something. So what do we do?
Please, Xerxes.
From the start?
Yeah, from the start, man. No, I feel like, we have had an absolute awful time with the AFCON and that with injuries as well, but I think there was enough quality there to at least to win against Leeds, I felt, but it just flat.
I think there was a lack of running in behind today. You know, that's what we were missing, I think. Because every time the ball was played up to Sesko, there was nobody within 20 yards of him. You know, Dorgu wasn't close enough to him. Cunha gets close to him and he plays his 1-2s, but he was isolated at times. When Xerxes came on, he obviously sets Cunha up, and then he plays that ball over the top that Sesko's going on to, but it was just overhit. I think he did 2 of them. And that gives me encouragement, do you know what I mean? Because I think maybe we need to look at that going forward in playing, dare I say it, 2 strikers.
What a throwback!
What a throwback that would be.
Long throws. Oh yeah, 2 strikers.
2 strikers up top. Oh my God, we'd be having overlapping right and left backs next instead of inverted ones. You know,
what a time to be alive!
What a time to be alive!
Revolutionised the game.
Maybe we'll cross the fucking ball. You know.
Well, that was one of the frustrations today. Like Dorgu's crossing was awful. I thought he just he looked pretty sharp at the start of the game, and it was just every time he had a chance to whip one in.
He made that really nice little clip behind for, I think it was Delo, and then he stopped, and then he thought, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take them on. And then every time he lost the ball, and I just wanted him hooked. You know, he scored that banger against Newcastle, and that's his best moment in a United shirt. And then since, like, there's been nothing. It's like the firecracker. Gone. That's it.
Yeah. I think with him, obviously he's very young, so you still got to kind of take that into account. But yeah, it's so frustrating.
Bored of that excuse. Do you know what I mean? You buy a player for 26 million quid, and you put him in the first team. You expect him to be able to be a first team player for Man United. There is no point buying players if they are going to be so inconsistent that you can't get a performance out of them. You know, you can't play well 1 in 3 games for Manchester United, or you're not a Manchester United player. You know, we need to be ruthless. There's no point in having this long-term view at everything all the time. We need to get players that are suitable for this to compete in the Premier League.
So if we sold Dortmund in January transfer, let's just say hypothetically, do you think we'd make money on him?
No, so we can't sell him.
Okay, there you go.
so I'm complaining about something that I can't fix. Yeah. But I'm just basically I'm having a bitch. This is a therapy session. Do you know what I mean?
Space, mate.
It's a safe space.
Fair. But yeah, speaking of the January stuff, transfers, Amorim's come out in post match. He's been a bit prickly, hasn't he? Over the last couple of days.
Hopefully he's turning that Callaghan up on Wilcox and Barada, and Ratcliffe. Because that's what's needed. I've said this consistently on the podcast that we need to be backing this manager. There is no point us holding back, waiting for the summer. There's 18 games to play, 19 games to play. There's European football to get there. Everybody is having an inconsistent season. 70 points, 65, 70 points gets you Champions League. Fucking hell. 80 points will probably get you the title this season. It's that bad, So why can't you go out there and spend what you would spend in the summer? If you turn around to Crystal Palace and said, right, we'll pay what you want in the summer for Wharton, here's the money, take it or leave it. And if you go to Brighton and say, right, here's the money for Belieber, surely they're going to want to do business. Surely there's players out there that we haven't been linked with that the club could make moves on. I don't want to see these players come out of the woodwork and be signed in the summer. I want the manager to have options now, because clearly by putting all them youth team players on the bench, which he has to do, he's saying to the board, there's nothing else. There isn't anything else. He's not willing to take risks with injuries, which is what I like. Bruno, has by all accounts, has been begging to play, which I love, but I'm also glad the manager's strong enough to say no, because I don't want to break you. I think we have to go out and splash. Who would you buy?
I think I've always said it, Adam Wharton. I really like him. I think Elliot Anderson's probably like the profile player we need, but I just love Adam Wharton. I think he gets the ball in transition so well, moves the ball forward. I think there's a lot of times today when you were watching it, and a lot over Christmas, where you get it in centre mid and it's like, we'll pass it across the field or we'll pass it backwards, and it's quite slow. Yeah. I think he's always driving the ball forward, and I think that's something that we need. I think
if we get a line breaker, somebody like him, I think it allows us to play Bruno in the attacking position, and Wharton breaks the game up well. and he could be the answer to playing him and Mainu, moving Casemiro out, because we're not going to renew his contract.
No.
We're not. We're probably getting rid of Ugarte in the summer, even though he's been good the last 3 games. The manager said, he's improved, and he can now see that there's a lot more to come from him, which was quite an interesting statement to make, basically meaning, I thought you were shit.
Yeah.
You're proving me wrong, but you still have to get better to be a Manchester United player. Would he be playing Ugarte? Would he be selling Ugarte if it was his choice? You don't know. I think he wants the club to take risks, and he's pushing the club to take risks. And I think we've done this with managers before, where we've basically done what they wanted, or done part what they wanted. But what do you think, other than Wharton? Do you think there needs to be more surgery?
Yeah, I think striker is definitely something that he's addressing. I don't think necessarily drop Sesko or get a new striker, but I think you need options. I think you could do with a more experienced Premier League striker in there, someone who's in the summer, we were linked with Ollie Watkins and Sesko. It seemed at one point it was a flip of the coin.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well.
Yeah, I was looking at some of my posts over this summer, and it's when we're linked with Calvert-Lewin, it's what are we doing? And now I was thinking...
And now you kind of think, well, that makes sense a little bit, because you've got these 2 players who can link up play really, really well, but then they're not really streetwise enough to bully a defender properly in the Premier League. And I think we are lacking that. Who would you go for? Who would be that player for you?
I think if I had to get a little stopgap striker just to kind of shore up, Ollie Watkins probably rings true forward. I think I like him, like what he's about. But I think for me, something I was thinking about was we tend to buy young strikers. Strikers in the Premier League seem to kind of come on a little bit in the late 20s and stuff. So obviously we've got Sesko, we've got Højlund, we've got Xerxes, all very, very young. I think you do need someone who's been around the block a little bit more, and I think that's the kind of player we need.
Gabriel Jesus, would you take him?
No, I think I don't think so.
You know what? He looks good. That's how he's come back, but. He
does this every kind of 6 months. He comes back into the team. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot about him. He was a good player, but then injured again for another 6.
Tell you what, that Gokras is shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
I had that 5-goal game between Bournemouth and Arsenal was probably the most boring game I've ever watched in my life. There's been 0-0s that have been better. Arsenal are frustratingly going to win the Premier League by playing the dullest, the least amount of football. The ball's only in for 40 minutes. It's dreadful. But going back to the topic of striker, because I have this thing about going on tangents, I think we definitely need to go for somebody that's got that Premier League quality. A Vardy, not Vardy though.
Yeah.
A Vardy. There's not a lot of them. Mateta, but our Palace going to part ways with him,
Well, I can't see them shipping him and Wharton to us.
I'd have Danny Welbeck.
Would you have Danny Welbeck?
Yeah, I think you go 5 million to Brighton, you go 5 mil. I know you're 34. 5 mil Brighton, little
Prodigal
sweetener. Come back. Live in Wes's house. You'd be right. Come on, Danny, if you're watching, come on, come back to Manchester till the end of the season. Come on.
Any other vintage players you'd take back?
We need a Henrik Larsson type, don't we? We need somebody who's wise, who's probably not going to be playing much football. Who's not got too many miles on the clock, but wants to get back into it. You've got to look around Europe. Is there a player that's played Premier League football that's missing? Is there one in the Bundesliga? I don't really know.
Would you take Harry Kane?
Obviously, you'd take Harry Kane, but Harry Kane's not going to come to Manchester United in January, is he?
He could get a Carabao out of it. Can you imagine?
No, he can't, because we're out the Carabao Cup. He could get the FA Cup out of it, which Danny Welbeck will put us out of next week. Which is a bit poor, but I think we need to look. We need to look for that, and I do think we need to look in the wing back position. I want to see us going for a long term Dalot or Dorgu replacement.
Absolutely, I think you need someone to complement Ahmad on the other side.
Yeah, there was rumours that Semenyo was going to be that player, right? That we were going to play him in that position, but it looks like he's going to Manchester City. There's a lad that is playing with Ahmad at AFCON that I've not really seen much of, that he's rumoured to be coming. But it's all rumours at the moment. There's nothing really coming out of the club, which kind of excites me, because I think we're a little bit different media-wise. Well, he's got rid of the media team, hasn't he? Yeah. So you just don't know what's going on with Manchester United.
Well, luckily for you, obviously, I was speaking to Semenyo not long ago, and he said he's watching the pod, and he's not really committed yet to Man City, so he's got one opportunity to join United. What's the argument to pick United over Man City? And you can talk directly to him if you like.
Antoine, the charges are coming out. You'll be playing League One football. Come to Manchester United. It's either Manchester United or you'll be playing Blackburn Rovers away next season.
Yeah, why play League One when you can play Championship?
Exactly. You're going to be the best player in League One or the Championship, you know, and that's what's coming. Got this, the smells of Guardiola wanting to leave. You know, what's coming out? What is coming out there? We don't know yet, but we know something's coming, don't we? We know something's coming.
Yeah, hopefully. No,
a nice late Christmas present that would be, wouldn't it? Just our noisy neighbours to be kicked out of the Premier League. I'd love that. I would love it.
How would you celebrate it?
I don't think I would. I just think I'd be really, really like, well, you know, you had to be made a scapegoat. Someone had to be made a scapegoat. They've done really good things for the city. I'd be really magnanimous about it. Yeah. But then inside, I'd just be like, thank fuck for that, because it's been boring watching them win. Yeah. It has, hasn't it, though? Yeah. Like, they've gamed it, but you went and get the best manager in the world. The current best manager in the world, not the all-time best manager. You go and get the best manager in the world and you spend 300 million a season on players. What do you expect? You know, and Etihad Airways, come and sponsor someone else. You know,
we'll take your money.
We'll take your money.
Buy Semenyo often.
Yeah, no. I think Semenyo is a player I go for. I quite like Justin Kluivert at Bournemouth. I quite like Justin Kluivert, and I quite like Njai at Everton. I quite like their number 10.
Yeah, I think Njai, I feel like he doesn't quite bag enough for me. But I do like the way he links up playing. He gets it behind the back line. Yeah,
I think he would get more goals in a better team. I think Moyes football isn't really the one, is it? Let's face it.
Well, I don't know. West Ham fans used to think that, and now I think they're begging for him.
Well, have they won it? Have Everton won since they beat Man United at Old Trafford?
I don't think they have, no.
Have West Ham won since they drew again with Man United at Old Trafford?
Like Robin Hood, we're just giving out points there. Wolves got points off us.
But then Wolves, who did they? Wolves beat the other day. They were West Ham. Oh my days! Yeah. You know, but in those two games against Wolves, obviously Wolves were really shit in the first game, but I thought they were really good at Old Trafford. I thought. Yeah.
Well, I watched them against Liverpool.
They were good.
They looked good. I remember being on finales and it was like, well, smash these days. Like, I don't know. I think they were a bit more a bit more organised, a bit more drilled than they have been. I didn't think it was going to be a 4-0. Put it that way. I mean, I still expected us to win, but I don't know.
It's the real danger for Manchester United is that we are a one-man team. Like Bruno, when we are without Bruno, we lack creativity. We can be defensively solid, like we've shown today, bar one moment. But we desperately need Bruno and a replacement for Bruno.
Yeah, and I think that showed it. I think last season we still needed it. Last season, I remember watching the Wolves game, and he didn't start. It was just after the Lyon match. And about 70 minutes in, we were losing 1-0, bring Bruno on. So the only time after that we actually made chances. And it was so weird, just like how we're just still reliant on him so much.
So should we look forward to the game against the second biggest team in Blackburn?
Yeah, Burnley. Yeah, they're the Dingles, as they call it. Yeah, I think, again, do you know what, like, I just don't know what I'm getting with United at the moment. I feel like we've got Arsenal and City around the corner, and we'll lose to Burnley and we'll beat both of them. Do you know what I mean?
You think we'll lose to Burnley?
No, I think it's going to be tough. I think we'll make a pig's ear of it, but I think probably like 1-0 maybe at a push. I honestly just no confidence at the moment with this team, with how depleted it is.
It's a very Mancunian podcast, isn't it? We'll make a pig's ear of it. Ooh, gravy.
I think we'll shit the bed.
Making references to Lancashire that nobody from down south will ever.
Sponsored by Hot Pot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we'll just make a pig's ear of it. It'll be difficult work again, and we'll probably come out with a win, or we'll come out with a draw, and it'll probably be softened by the fact that Chelsea will drop points, and we'll still be at that point of the table.
Well, Bruno's back for the game. I think we spank him. I think we spank him. I think
we were so good against them at home.
We were so good because they play out from the back. They play out from the back, or they try to force the ball down one side and it exposes them. So, like, Kyle Walker hasn't been that bad for them this season. I think he's been all right. And they've been unlucky in quite a few games, Burnley. They've only lost by the odd goal. And of the promoted teams, I think the promoted teams have done quite well this season.
Yeah,
you know,
I think they'll stay up.
I don't know about that. I think Burnley will go down. But I think we'll beat them. I think we can. It's one of those where we get the first goal and the second and the third. We're happy.
Then the fifth.
Then the fifth.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and it's 2-0 to Burnley, and you can just hear them, you know. But no, I think it all depends whether we can get more than 60 minutes out of Bruno Fernandes. If you're watching Bruno, sleep well. We need you, and don't fucking get injured again.
Yeah, ever. But I think we have been. The reason I'm not like filled with confidence is Burnley is just because we've been so up and down lately and so unpredictable. Like games that we should be winning, we're just kind of strolling through them and not really doing anything. And I feel like the pressure's getting bigger and bigger on Amorim now. I feel like it's getting to the stage it was just before the Liverpool game when everyone was like, he's not going to be lasting longer. Can you see the point of why he's getting pressure on him?
No. I think there is zero pressure internally on Ruben Amorim. I can categorically say that the club are probably happy with him, happier over this period because he's been dynamic in the changes that he's made. We've played 3 or 4 different formations in game and changed things. He's not making too much of a fuss in the media, although he is making a little bit of a fuss in the media. And we're not getting beat every week. You know, what have we done? We've invested a median amount of money in the squad, and he's getting a better tune out of the players than he was last season. You know, I think he's going to be unhappy with the hierarchy. The hierarchy are going to be really happy with him because, you know, what would you expect out of the money we've spent? You know, I'm not expecting any more at this stage. We are in and around it. Now is the time to go. I'm backing this man.
I agree.
You know,
I think this is where I kind of wanted United to be at the start of the season. But I think given how we've been playing, where we've been at, we should be higher up the table. We've dropped some stupid points recently.
Yeah.
Like going from the Everton game to now, pretty much. Like there've been so many points there. We should at least have an extra 10 points on the board there. And some of them we've lost from winning positions. So I feel like as much as Amorim's doing well, I think we've had to reassess, saying, we should be 5th or 6th at the start of the season. Say we should probably be a bit higher up in the table. Definitely.
You know, we looked at the table before, didn't we? And we said we're 10 points better than this. Genuinely 10 points better than this. And it's ifs and buts, but if we can get a run together, you know, we can get in and amongst it. Chelsea are for the taking. Liverpool, I don't know, are they still 1-1? I'm asking Cal, who's behind the camera. You know, there's a thumb up there.
He clocked out as soon as we mentioned Burnley, mate.
He's checked right out. He's checked right out. As soon as we said one positive thing about Burnley, he's gone off it. But, you know, I think AFCON finishes on the 18th, doesn't it? So you got your players back from the 3rd week of January, so maybe earlier. So realistically, are we going to do anything in January? I'm not sure. I hope we do, but hope's not a strategy. Amorim wants a player in. That is clear from his body language and what he's saying. I think the club should back him to get a man in. Where does it leave us till the end of the season? Where do you think we should be?
I think we should probably be 5th or 6th. I think I said at the start of the season we should be aiming for 5th. We'll probably end up 7th, and I think that's kind of where we're at now. But I just feel like the opportunities have presented themselves for us quite well. Chelsea and Liverpool dropping points. They're not firing on all cylinders like we thought we would. If it went for Villa, we'd probably be a bit higher up as well. But I feel like there's been opportunities for us to capitalise on other teams doing badly and for us to move up, and we've just not taken that at all. And I feel like the only saving grace is none of the other teams are picking up wins every week.
Would you take Morgan Rogers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think he's gettable?
No, I don't think he is. I think if we take it, I think you'd pay extra, like you're paying extra for him, and I feel like for the money we'd invest into him, we'd probably be able to get a better player.
Okay, next question: would you recall Marcus Rashford?
No, I think that is so tough because I'd love to see Rashford at United firing on all cylinders, singing Kumbaya with Amorim, and they're all happy friends and stuff like that. But that's just not going to happen, and I don't think he's a solution. It's a massive step backwards for the club if you've stamped your flag at the start of the season saying no, we're drawing a line over your Rashfords, your Sanchos and all that kind of stuff, and then go about 6 months later going, oh, cap in hand, oh, can you come back?
It's not really cap in hand when you pay him 18 million quid a season.
Yeah, maybe that was a poor choice of words, but I think it doesn't set a good precedent, does it? I think if you do that, you rot the apple cart again, and we're back at square one.
He's not like going in there and you know, he's not that much of a disruptive influence that he's literally going to be, you know, setting fire to everyone's clothes and, you know, shitting in the in the changing rooms, you know, on Amorim's fucking seat. You know, I think we want to get in the Champions League, right? Where is he playing for at Barcelona? He's 9 times out of 10 he's playing down the middle or just off the left. I think, is Xerxes better than Rashford?
No, but I think a player of Rashford's calibre, yes, absolutely get him in. But I just feel like Rashford is not the answer because you do that, you want to do a lot of the hard work you've done behind in the back.
No, it doesn't undo the changing room. It doesn't undo the 50 million spent on Carrington. It doesn't undo, I think, pragmatism. I want to see pragmatism, and like he's backtracked on Malacia. Why? Because he needs a player. I think if you can't get a player in, why not recall one of your loan players? Would you take Højlund back until the end of the season?
I wouldn't have got rid of Højlund anyway. I think for me, I think you need extra firepower in your squad. Whether or not he'd start is a different matter, but I would never have got rid of him. Okay,
so you recall Højlund. If there was a buyback for McTominay, would you buy him back?
Yeah, I wouldn't let him go either.
Okay. I won't ask about the lad from Marseille, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, probably best to stay clear.
But okay. Well, I will ask Jadon Sancho.
No,
I wouldn't take Sancho either.
I think
please stay away, Jadon. I think he was very misunderstood, and I think that people I've heard a lot of stuff about body language, especially from youngsters, and I don't think that he's as much of a dickhead as everyone makes him out to be. And Emre's playing him, you know, and Emre is a very, very good coach, and he's not playing the lad who used to run through brick walls for Jurgen Klopp, which is quite funny, to be honest. Sancho's getting minutes, and Harvey Elliott, England's next best thing.
Linked with the MLS.
Is he? Yeah, Harvey Elliott?
Yeah, he's been linked with the MLS.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wasn't he? Didn't he come from Blackburn as well? Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, the big man.
Didn't they rob him? Didn't Liverpool rob him off Blackburn? I think they did.
Yeah, pinched him.
Or pinched him off Fulham. I pinched off one of them.
One of them. He got him off Fulham.
But I think he was at Blackburn first, or he has been at Blackburn.
Such a journey, man.
Such a journey, man. We do make a lot of links to Blackburn Rovers here, don't we?
Yeah.
Too much. Too many. And it's a Manchester United podcast. It's just the producer is from Blackburn.
He's subtly making us talk about them every week.
He is.
3 weeks' time, we'll be here with Venky's chicken. Blue and white tops on.
That's it. Have you ever had Venky's chicken?
Never, no. But David swears by it. Says it's the best chicken he's ever had.
Oh, my days. David Dunn. Right.
Well, I think on that note, anyway, we've hit the time there.
Subscribe to the Blackburn Rovers podcast.
Yeah.
No,
up the Venky's.
Please subscribe to the Busby Way podcast, and also coming up in the next couple of weeks, Dong Fang Zhou.
More on that later. Right, cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Football, by the hell. This is the Virtual Dream. Will you please welcome